welcome to the Dits on Wrestling podcast, the Royal Navy's only pro wrestling pod. Probably still unconfirmed after all these months of even dropping that little gimmick. Still don't know. Now, little caveat before we start going into the episode proper. WrestleMania is literally hanging by a thread. Like, by the time this episode drops, I'm recording this on a Friday, on the 14th of March. Come the 15th, when I wake up in the morning, WrestleMania might not be happening. We don't know. It's all up in the air. Vince is a very stubborn man, so you never know. It probably will end up happening. It'll probably be from the PC or Full Sail. Who knows at this point? But as far as I'm concerned, WrestleMania is still going ahead, and therefore I'm still going ahead with this episode, which is the booking of all WWE titles on WrestleMania weekends. That's including the NXT titles as well, because of course we have an NXT takeover to look forward to, which will actually, I think, be safe, because you could easily just do that in a Full Sail, which I would actually love, because I haven't seen a takeover / NXT special event at the Full Sail for a very long time, and I used to enjoy the shit out of those shows. But I'm not doing this alone. I am bringing somebody along with me, somebody who I've been trying, well, not actively pursued, but I've been looking at getting him on the show for a very, very long time, and that is Rob from the Random Ramblings podcast. Hello, Rob. How you doing?
I am okay, sir. We've been randomly rambling for almost about an hour before this even started proper, and I got some caveats, which I'm not using that word in the proper place, but I have some corrections to your intro.
Oh,
first of all, WrestleMania is hanging on by a mask string, so you got that. And then it's Friday the 13th, not Friday the 14th. Jason running around here slashing and hacking people with Corona mask on and whatnot. And I think that was it. That's all I caught.
Yeah, well, I'm living life in the future, because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning here.
So it's Saturday.
It's like Saturday here, yeah. I'm one of those crazy people that just stays up late and gets like... I'm the Vince McMahon of wrestling podcasts. I will sleep for fucking 2 or 3 hours, if that, and then still fully function throughout the day. It's bizarre. I don't know how I do it.
And what I did like, your tagline there, which, we should do some research. I want to know if this is the Royal Navy's only podcast, or I wouldn't say official, but let's just say unofficial for the moment. But well, it's definitely the only. I have not heard that moniker uttered or, on the interwebs anywhere.
I know of two guys who, I mean, actually, I guessed it on their show, I think twice, and they were ex-Navy, which I'm not counting. Like,
nope, that doesn't count. No.
It doesn't count.
No, it does not count.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anybody else that does it. Which is why I like it. That's why I put on the probably at the end, because I don't know. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Fuck it. I mean, we speaking it into existence. It is. It's not probably. It is. You heard it here first on March 14th, Saturday.
At 0155. This is the Royal Navy's only pro wrestling podcast.
There you go. That's how I want to hear it every goddamn time. And I'm going to spot check you from now and then, because I want to hear no goddamn probably, because it is.
I'm going to have to go through all my bios and everything on social media now, because that is littered with probably. Just delete.
No, is.
Official. And then I'll have I'll have whoever runs the socials or the marketing or whatever of the Royal Navy saying, why are you tagging yourself as the official Royal Navy Pro Wrestling Pod? We do not affiliate ourselves with sweaty... Well, actually saying that, the Royal Navy probably does associate themselves with sweaty men, but... yeah, we won't delve into that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The sweaty men just... Oh.
Dude, I work on submarines too, so it's even worse.
Ooh, yeah. You extra sweaty.
Yeah. Sweaty, smell it, you name it, we've got it.
Man, I've been on a Navy ship, but I've never been in a submarine. I don't know how I could take that. I don't feel like I'm claustrophobic, but I've never been in a tight quarters underwater, so that might be a whole different thing.
It's interesting. I'll put it that way. It's very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
I've seen a few people freak out as well.
Oh yeah. Especially you get like I can imagine it's like an airplane almost, right? You know how you get high up and the pressure popping your ears and shit. It's the same thing when you go low. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's
you got to chew a lot of gum.
just constantly walking around with sweets in your gob. Yeah, it's an interesting experience. Very, very interesting. It's one that I can actually say that I've done, even if I decided to leave the Navy tomorrow. I could say, well, I've been on a submarine under the water, and not many people can say that.
Exactly.
So I'll take it. But yeah, it does stink. If you're going to take one thing away from time on a submarine, it stinks. Especially when like you've done like a bit of a stint underwater, and then you come alongside somewhere, and that main access hatch opens up, and I feel sorry for whatever poor fucker is stood on the other end of that, because you are getting a blast of fart, piss, oil, shit, sweat. Everything's coming at you.
So that's my question to you right now, not to delay the wrestling talk and whatnot, but what's the logistics on that? I mean, do you have like some kind of a portable water system down there, or you using baby wipes? What the hell's going on? So
like showering and stuff like that, you kind of, I mean, you get people that take the piss and they'll literally shower every single day, but then I think really the unofficial ruling is that it's like every other day kind of thing. Maybe stretch it out to 2 or 3 days, but I usually go 3 days max if I have to, and then I take packs and packs and packs and packs of baby wipes, so I can get some kind of hygiene level. Because the thing is, like, we're sharing these beds as well. Like, like hot bunking. So you will go
rotating.
So you'll go and shake this guy and say, dude, get the fuck out of the bed. It's my turn to sleep.
It's my turn.
Yeah. It's my turn.
Oh, I am very familiar, sir. I understand this concept. But yeah, I mean, oof. Yeah. And, and it also depends on how your day was, man. Because, I mean, you try to be considerate of your fellow mates and everything. And, you want to abide by, those unspoken rules pretty much. But it's just like, if I'm there in the boiler room freaking 5 hours that day, I'm taking the shower. I don't care what the time frame is. I don't care if I took one yesterday, I'm taking one today too.
And this is the issue, because like one of like my main roles like on board is to like drive the submarine, which you can imagine it's a high level of responsibility, and it's very stressful. Like, not only are you like trying to keep course, but you're trying to keep depth, and then you're also whilst you're doing all that, you're looking at all these fucking dials and saying, right, is that all working? Is this working? And I will literally sit there for like the hour that I'm like on watch kind of thing, sweating. Like, I am sweating buckets, just like hoping I'm not going to kill everybody on board. Like, literally, it's just a strange power to have. Like, literally, you could get your hands like on that stick and just push it all the way forward, and you're killing everybody. Like, you have that power. It's disgusting levels of responsibility.
So is it? It's not like a motorcycle throttle or nothing like that. So it's more like what would be in an airplane or a helicopter.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
It's it's very stressful, and then obviously straight from there you're waking somebody up, and you're just streaming with water and sweat and fucking God knows what else. You probably shat yourself a little bit as well while you're in the seat.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting, really.
It is. I've been separated from the military for about 3 years now, and like I think it's leaving me, because a lot of things that wouldn't have bothered me when I was in active duty service, it kind of gets to me now. So like, for instance, at work, we got cloth chairs. So if somebody sit on a cloth chair for too long, they ass warm up the seat, their body heat warm up the seat, and that wouldn't have bothered me, years back. But now for me to go sit down on somebody's hot ass seat, that shit bothered the fuck out of me, man. I'm like, your hot ass was on my hot ass, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I get that, because especially the seat that you sit in when you're driving the fucking submarine. Like, whoever followed me, like, God bless them. Like, how you followed my ass on that seat, I will never know, but they did it. Because you have no choice.
They did it. Exactly.
You have no choice.
It's not like we can take our seats with us.
No. Yeah, that would be interesting, actually. Loads of guys walking up and down a submarine carrying fucking chairs around the place. Not that you'd be able to do it. You wouldn't be able to even pass each other. You just go, like, who's going here? Like, are you passing up here, or am I having to walk fucking 10 meters back that way, which is going to disrupt everybody who's fucking stood behind me, so you can walk past me with that fucking chair?
You son of a bitch.
But yeah, that's I see. This is the first time actually that somebody's come on and like we've
understood
shared that. Yeah, and understood. Yeah, yes, it's definitely it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one. Not many people experience what we've experienced.
And welcome to your Royal Navy talk.
The wrestling talk is gone. WrestleMania is done. It's cancelled. Fucking coronavirus is killing everybody. Let's just talk about the fucking Navy.
Which I was in the Marine Corps, so I am a department of the Navy.
Yeah, so yeah, we have the Royal Marines as well, which are under the Royal Navy umbrella. So, I mean, to be fair, kudos to you, because if the Marine Corps is anything like what the Royal Marines do here, like I would not be able to do that shit. Like that is next level.
Bunch of lewd, crude assholes. Yeah. But anyway, man, I could do this all night, man. Let's get to the wrestling.
Yeah, let's get to the wrestling. Right, so as I hyped up on social media this week, we will be booking or rebooking the WWE title matches at WrestleMania. So, I mean, chances are, I don't know if it will be the same with you, Rob, but some of these matches I am happy with how they're booked right now. So we'll just skip past those, and we'll start at the very top of the mountain. We'll go with that WWE title match. Of course, Brock Lesnar is the current holder of that title. Not that you would know because he's rarely there. But he is against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. This is a match that I am more than happy to go ahead. I do not wish to rebook it. It is masterful. Drew McIntyre's time has come. Let's leave it be.
All right, now let's talk about our concerns. Because, I mean, I am in agreement with you. I wouldn't change anything about this. But we've seen Brock Lesnar in his current incarnation. We know Brock Lesnar was with the company many moons ago before he returned, I think, in, 2012? 13? Something like that?
Yes. Yeah, 2012, I think it was.
So let's put it like this. He's been here now since 2012, longer than he has been when he was currently here, when he was dubbed one of the youngest WWE champions at the time. So what he is doing now, the things that he went out after leaving WWE at that time, after he had that atrocious Goldberg match at WrestleMania with Stone Cold as the referee, to the feats he accomplished in the UFC, becoming the heavyweight champion, and overcoming illness, what is that, diverticulitis or whatever the fuck that was.
Congratulations for saying that.
Yeah, I only know it because I listen to Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman says it all the time, so that's kind of how it got drilled into my head. But, he brung back a lot of that mystique, the acclaim about him. That's why he is booked the way he is, because regardless of how we as wrestling fans feel, Brock Lesnar is a draw. Brock Lesnar brings in the money. Brock Lesnar is a big name. Just us saying Brock Lesnar is like he's getting power right now. It's like Dragon Ball Z and shit. He feeding his spirit bomb and shit. So, but it's just like we've seen how he has been booked since they decided to make him the end all be all for a lot of shit. And because when he came back, he lost 2 matches. He lost against Cena. He lost against Triple H. But after he beat The Undertaker, he's just been unstoppable. Nobody can rarely lay a hand on him. So it gives us that iffy feeling to like, all right, we got Drew McIntyre. He white hot. He deserves this. He paid his dues. He left. He came back. Kind of like Brock Lesnar did. He left. He went did shit. Made himself bigger than what he was, came back with a lot of steam and acclaim, and here we are with Drew McIntyre. But Brock Lesnar has beaten everybody that's done similar things. AJ Styles, CM Punk, fucking, you name it, he whipped their ass. And he even made Kofi Kingston look like an afterthought, even though that was their second meeting, because he beat the shit out of him in Beast in the East, which a lot of people don't remember.
And he lasted longer at Beast in the East as well, by the way.
Exactly. But, in comparison to Beast in the East, to how he lost the WWE title, I believe they did a better job him losing the title than they did in Beast in the East, because we already knew going into Beast in the East that Kofi was going to get his ass whipped. But like this, with how they built it up and everything with the title match, it's just like it could have, in your mind, it could have went either type of way, because before then he had the crazy match with Seth Rollins to where it ended pretty quickly, curb stomp, he won the title. So, you thought going into like, all right, Kofi might have a chance, but they ended it quick. So you didn't see Kofi get mangled and beat down and everything like that, which I kind of appreciated that aspect of it. But overall, I did not like that shit.
I don't think many people did.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's the lesser of two evils. But, like, now we have Drew McIntyre that everybody wants to do it. But this is Brock Lesnar, the one they let do whatever the fuck he want. The one that can leave months at a time with the title and just chill out at his house and, do whatever things he want to do and then come back and win. So I'm kind of iffy. I'm on the fence with this Drew McIntyre Brock Lesnar match. Even though they building Drew McIntyre up to be the next big thing, that he has a fighting chance and everything. He's besting Brock at every turn and every corner. I still think he can lose.
Yeah, I mean, it was only a couple of years ago when obviously we had Reigns versus Brock number 2 at WrestleMania, and everyone assumed that this was going to be Reigns' moment, he was going to take it, and then Brock walked away with the title, and we were all just kind of, what the fuck just happened? And then I think he retained again at one of the Saudi shows, like a couple of months after that, and it was just like,
and then
okay.
And then I think that was like a miscue or something, because how they fell out the cage and everything. Maybe Roman was supposed to hit the floor first, but Brock wound up hitting the floor first, and that kind of screwed that up. And we don't know if that was on purpose or if it was an accident, but they went with Brock anyway. So,
I mean, if Brock wins,
I'm gonna be mad.
I will. Yeah, I will be mad and I will be upset. But I
understand.
It would. And it's the thing is, he's legit as well. He's not some weedy guy. I mean, this is nothing whatsoever against what's his name, Marco Stunt in AEW.
Oh, Marco Stunt. Yeah.
Like if it was him versus Brock, him versus Drew McIntyre, and Marco Stunt fucking beat Drew, you're kind of like, really? Like, is that where you've gone with this? But no, it's Brock Lesnar fucking destroying Drew. Well, not destroying Drew McIntyre. I'm sure Drew McIntyre will put up a decent fight. But it's more believable. It's more legitimized, just purely because of the aura that Brock Lesnar brings with him everywhere. And the thing that excites me about this match is the fact that when Brock Lesnar is interested in something and when he's enjoying it, you can see it and you can tell. And since their little Royal Rumble stint together, and then everything after that, like Lesnar has been like all into this, really enjoying it.
He's been there.
Yeah,
he's been there.
And he's showing up. Yeah, so he must be enjoying it.
Yeah, and then and I kind of look at things. In my opinion, I feel like Brock Lesnar is coming toward the end. That's why we're seeing a drastic change in his character and the way he does his different matches and whatnot. Because before, we knew what this was. Brock Lesnar come in, he gonna suplex the shit out of somebody, and he gonna win. Now it's more competitive matches, and now it's kind of flash finishes like what we saw with Seth Rollins and whatnot. And the shit with Goldberg, when Goldberg beat him for the title. We getting things like that. I think he signed maybe another 3-year deal, but we're already a year and a half or so through that deal already. if I'm thinking about it right, I might be wrong. Don't never quote me on shit like that because I'm bad with time frames and shit like that. But he is closer to the end than he is to the beginning of his contract that he re-signed for. So we're seeing a change, and I kind of equated to it being the end of him doing this shit. I mean, who knows? They can probably back up another truckload of money to his house, and he'll probably do it, and it'll be more of the same. But I feel like this contract here, once it's up, he might kind of fade away and be done. That's why we're getting a lot of more competitive matches, more things and whatnot, because that stress is getting lifted off his shoulders. You don't have to worry about so much as you used to before because, he's on the way out. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, and I think we win because of that as well. Like, we've seen a lot of, people
please.
give Brock so much shit. About his part-time status or the squash matches or the fact that he only does 3 moves. I don't really care. I've been a Brock guy since day one. As soon as he showed up in 2002, I was like, this guy's fucking amazing. Yeah. Comes back in 2012, my opinion hadn't fucking changed. It's all still the same. And to see him do what he does in these matches with smaller people. So, and that makes it interesting to see what he's going to do with Drew, because obviously Drew's taller. He's not as wide, but he is taller. I'll be interested to see how that goes, but it's going to be competitive just based on what they've done so far. Yeah. I enjoy the hell out of all of that, and he's an underrated seller and all this kind of stuff as well. Yeah. Nobody gives him the due that he deserves. He's so very, very good at what he does, even if it's minimal.
And what's different about this matchup, because you talk about him going up against bigger guys and be kind of slow and plotting and everything or whatever. Drew McIntyre is a big guy, but at the same time, he is agile than the motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he can move around, like a smaller guy and whatnot, and that's going to make for an interesting matchup, which I'm kind of excited for. I mean, I was there live for the Royal Rumble. And I was opposed to that shit. I was like, I do not like this at all. But seeing his performance there, it changed my mind. I was just like, it sucks that he went through 14, 15 people that could have, did more in that Royal Rumble match. But we know who was going to win at the end of the night anyway. From a booking standpoint, the people in charge. We know who's going to win anyway. Why even go through this? This is Brock Lesnar. So why don't we do Brock Lesnar shit? I think the best part of that Royal Rumble was when Big E came down and he got his offense in, and that was a great moment. But when they tried to do the freaking the Hardy Boys spot where you catapult off the back, into the corner or whatever, Brock came off a Big E back and clothesline Kofi. That shit was funny as hell.
I see when Brock does little stuff like that.
When he does shit like that is amazing.
Like when he did that big leap over Goldberg at WrestleMania when he tried to hit him with a spear, you just seemed to fly, and it was like, fuck, that was cool as fuck. Just little stuff like that. Honestly, I love Brock Lesnar. He's so good. But I think we're in agreement here that we will not touch this match. This match will go ahead. We're going to leave it with Brock and Drew. Now, this next one, however, it might be a little bit different. So, Universal title, current holder, Mr. Bill Goldberg, currently set to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Are you happy with this match going ahead, or would you rebook it with somebody else instead of Reigns?
I would book it with somebody else other than Goldberg.
Unfortunately, that's not an option, Rob. It's not an option.
See, but I mean, that's the situation that we're in now. I understand. I think Roman Reigns is a good choice for this particular situation because, I mean, when I started hearing the rumblings of this could be a possibility, I automatically thought spear versus spear. And that's what they're advertising it as, is Goldberg, who is hailed as the best spear in the business and whatnot, which I disagree with because I believe Bobby Lashley has an awesome spear. He does the little flip with it and everything. That's pretty cool. But, just that 170-something win streak, all built upon that spear. That it's iconic at this point. Anytime I think about somebody doing the spear, there's other people that we can think about like Edge and, a couple of other people and anything like that. But Goldberg is number one in my mind. Just like when you talk about the RKO, a lot of people might think Randy Orton, but for me, I think DDP with Diamond Cutter.
Yeah,
but
good point.
But if, this is another one of those things. Goldberg, he came back when WWE 2K came out, because he was a secret character in that game. And that was kind of like a telltale, too, because for a while, those WWE games, when they introduced a classic character, that classic character kind of did something in the ring to an extent. So, I think they did The Rock one year, and The Rock came back and did some WrestleMania shit. They did Goldberg. Goldberg came back and did some shit. They did the Ultimate Warrior the one year, but he got put in the Hall of Fame and he died. So that's a bad one. I think Goldberg is serving a role here. I wholeheartedly believe Roman Reigns is going to win. And it's just to kind of like, we rehabbing Roman Reigns. We went the long way around, obviously. He went out with the leukemia stuff, the cancer, and they haven't been doing him like they have been previous to that, to where like every 5 minutes is Roman Reigns on the show. He in the title hunt. He got the promo segment. He got the top of the segment, the bottom of the segment. He not being force fed. And it's sad to say, and I'm going to say it, but him having that little small spot with the leukemia or whatever kind of helped him, because he was off of TV for a while. And, it gave people time to forget and forgive, and when he came back, he had a lot of momentum behind him. And then they booked him a lot to be the loser rather than the winner. They did a lot of opposite things with this guy. So we wouldn't be like, oh, LOL, Roman wins, like how he was doing with Cena. They retracted from that. So I'm okay with it. But who we could have put there, I don't think we could have put anybody else in that position, because this will help Roman, and this is just like a step to get him back to being that main event guy, which obviously he's going to be for however long. And it's against somebody that's not going to be around too much longer anyway, So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like this, I've tried to think about it a number of times, just like who would face Goldberg apart from Roman Reigns, and I mean, there's obviously some options out there who could go ahead and do it. But
let's say them out loud. Let's just say them out loud. Let's put them out in the air and just, let's see how we feel about it. Give me somebody.
I mean, we're obviously looking on the SmackDown side of things. You could have had The Fiend get his win back at WrestleMania.
You could, but that, I feel like that kind of would have been counterproductive.
Yeah.
Remember how we used that word a lot.
Cena could have been. Well, Cena, I think, was actually touted as an option. A couple of months back, but
but we know he's more on the outs than anything or whatnot. I mean, it could be a good thing to cap off his legacy or whatnot, because he is tied with Ric Flair for most championship reigns, and this could put him right over the top. So, I mean, that could be a cool thing that you can do. But if he's not going to be around consistently, which I feel like Cena wouldn't be that type of person, because we've seen through evidence that he is not that type of person to come back, get a title, and go off and do some other movie shit or whatever he's doing. He's been committed to the movie stuff, and he's been away. So I don't think he would come back, I'm going to get 17, and then I'm going to go off and finish doing what I was doing, then come back, drop it to somebody. I don't think he would do no shit like that.
No, I don't either. This is like SmackDown in a nutshell. I'm really struggling to think of who else could do it. Daniel Bryan, maybe?
So, no.
But that wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah, I mean, then everybody loves Daniel Bryan. They wouldn't want to see him in that position. I mean, I believe he can make a good match out of it, because it would be on him to make that match work. And I think he has a good mind for wrestling to where he can figure something out, but who would really want to see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really it. There's not really that many options.
Exactly. I mean, you can't do Aleister Black because he's on Raw, ain't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't think of nobody on SmackDown to do it. I mean, everybody else is in the tag team, more or less.
Yeah, just randomly throw people together. It seems to be the general consensus amongst WWE at the moment. But I think we'll leave Roman Goldberg as it is. We won't touch it. Like you said, like Roman Reigns winning is probably.
And then
this
is just me thinking off the top of my head because honestly I couldn't really tell you anybody on the SmackDown roster.
It's hard. Like it really is hard. Like,
I mean, Samoa Joe is hurt.
But he's on Raw.
SmackDown. Oh, he's on Raw?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This proves my point.
Yeah, SmackDown is considering like they kind of labeled it as the new flagship because of this whole Fox move.
Yeah.
Like stars wise,
they ain't really nothing because I mean AJ can't do shit with AJ. Is that Raw?
Yeah, he's on Raw. Yeah.
See. Everybody I'm naming is on fucking Raw. With Strowman and Sami Zayn and all them. All right, so obviously not Sami Zayn. Obviously not Shinsuke Nakamura. You can pitch something for Cesaro, but you would be mad as fuck if he lost. So Cesaro. The Miz, hell no. John Morrison, hell no. See, it's coming back to me now. So, yeah, I mean, you ain't got a lot of options. Everybody else is in a tag team or a faction. I mean, you can pitch Braun Strowman, but that's not going to go well either.
So, basically, Reigns gets this by default.
Exactly, by default.
And with this that kind of ties in as well for this next title. The Raw Women's title, of course, Becky Lynch is the holder of that belt, and she's facing Shayna Baszler. As things stands, this is another match where I cannot rebook it because there are no other options. Like the Raw Women's division is a lot better than what SmackDown have.
Yeah.
However, Becky's already beaten everybody at this point.
Exactly.
So
if you've seen her chalk line shirt, she has everybody's title plate on her sleeve that she's beaten.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I quite like that actually. To be fair,
yeah, it's cool. But what I do not appreciate, but in hindsight, just mulling it over and whatnot, I don't appreciate how they've been treating Asuka. I don't appreciate that at all.
No, I'm exactly the same. Like this whole. I mean, I don't really mind the Kabuki Warriors, as a unit. It is what it is. They exist. I like Kairi Sane. I like Asuka. So putting them together, whatever. But throwing her... Well, I say throwing her in this women's tag team division, but it's barely existed for the last 3 months. And it's only coming back now because WrestleMania is just around the corner. Yeah. It's completely wasted. And then we had this obviously bright spot where she started feuding with Becky again. So we kind of had that nice little feeling of singles star Asuka, and now she's straight back into that tag division again. And
so, before we even talk about this any further or whatever, as far as WrestleMania goes, I mean, I know it's in limbo right now, but they put on the show and whatnot. I kind of feel like they're gonna have like some big women's tag team title match. I know Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have challenged for the titles.
Yeah.
But I just kind of feel like there's going to have like some big cluster match at WrestleMania. I kind of feel like that because where the fuck the Iconics at?
I know, like drop the titles and then just disappear. Like, I wasn't a fan of that. I like the Iconics. Yeah. I'm a fan.
They need them. Yeah. They need them out there. I mean, they don't have to win the titles, but they just need them out there as, the personalities that they are. I mean, because I like them a lot.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, even, like, in a storyline perspective, like, what has happened with the Iconics? Where are they? Like, it's never been explained. Like, there's rarely, like, any, like, WWE.com exclusive stuff that showcases them like it used to. Like, you had Billy Kay going around, what did you say?
You joking me?
That's it. You gotta be joking me. You don't get any of that anymore. It's just so it's just a missed opportunity. Like, I'm a big fan of the Iconics.
It is if we can coin the phrase, random.
You can throw randoms in. It's relevant today. But yeah, like it's just a complete waste of Asuka, like, recently. So as soon as those belts are not associated with, and I'm Kairi Sane as well, like, as soon as the belts are not associated with the two of those, the better.
Yeah. Now, that whole thing there, Kairi Sane and Asuka being the team, this kind of bummed me out because of the theme of WrestleMania. It's fucking pirate. Yeah. That bummed me out so fucking bad. I wanted before they became the Kabuki Warriors, before they were a tandem, and I seen the graphic, the logo, that it was in Tampa Bay, it was a fucking pirate flag and everything. It's on my Twitter many moons ago. I should have bookmarked it because I want to go back to that damn tweet. I said, we're going to have WrestleMania, this pirate theme, and Kairi Sane is going to come out on the motherfucking pirate ship. I know it. I know it in my bones. But then they did this Kabuki Warrior shit.
Oh, that would have been really fucking cool as well.
Yes. It would have been fucking amazing.
Like, I've already forgotten that she did the pirate stuff. Like, that's what the Kabuki Warriors has done.
See, they brainwashed you.
Brainwashed. But Becky is against Shayna, and I think, are we in agreement that there is literally no other option here?
No, I mean they've damaged Asuka beyond that point, because that would have been a viable contender for me. Naomi just recently came back, but she hadn't been back long enough to do anything.
Yeah, well, she's SmackDown, so that counts her out.
There you go. There I am again with my wrong picks. I'm just thinking about Naomi booty anyway. What else? Let's see. I'm trying to think about Raw. Lacey Evans is there, right?
SmackDown.
Fuck! All right. Sasha Banks has blue hair, so she's on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, she's on SmackDown. Yeah, she's...
Okay.
So who we got on Raw? We got Asuka, Kairi Sane, Natalya.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, Dana Brooke, and I'm reeling all these off, and in my head it's immediately followed by
nobody. All those names there is nobody.
So yeah, it's Shayna, like, and
yeah,
to be fair, like, it's been building up to this for a while anyway, so
yeah,
it makes logical sense.
So what I'm looking for out of all this, and I've been looking for it for a long time, since they've been teasing it in NXT, is the 4 horsewomen of WWE versus the 4 horsewomen of MMA. And I've just been trying to wrap around, like, how can they parlay this into that? And, I'm pretty sure they can weave it some kind of way, but I'm not really seeing it right now. But it took all the names that you just read off for them to be like, all right, we pulling from NXT for our next feud.
And that's a repeated thing as well when we get to another title a little bit later on. But yeah, we'll keep Becky and Shayna. However, we finally get to a match that isn't booked for Mania, as far as I'm aware. SmackDown is, like, on TV right now, or at least it's just finished, so something may have changed. But we have SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley without a match at WrestleMania at the moment. Now, my money would be with Sasha Banks, because that is it's a go-to feud. Like, they've been associated with each other for so long.
So long, yeah.
And the matches they had in NXT together, like, Jesus, so good. Like, the Brooklyn match is one of my favorite matches of all time. So very good.
Yeah. I thought this is where they were leading before Bayley even got the title, and before Sasha went away for her hiatus. That's what I thought they were going to begin with. But then they changed Bayley. They made her cut a ponytail. I mean, that could have been her decision as well. And they made her heel, which Sasha Banks came back to be a heel. So it's weird. I mean, but they can still pull it off. I mean, as I look at the calendar right now, we got 2 weeks. 2.5, because, it's on the weekend. So you got 2.5 weeks to pull it off. But I don't think nobody would be opposed to Bayley, Sasha Banks, if they pulled the trigger on that.
No, definitely not. That would, like, in an ideal world, that would be exactly what we have. Who would be heel and who would be babyface, I don't know.
Now, see what I would think you ultimately would have to keep Sasha Banks heel, and I can kind of feel like Bayley can come to this realization that, like, I thought she was my friend and she made me turn my back on all you people and all this and all that, and she can kind of garner that sympathy or whatever, because we can both agree right here right now that Bayley sucks as a fucking heel.
Yeah, I mean, initially, like when she came out and she destroyed like the Bayley buddies and she had this new look, new music, all this kind of stuff, I was like, this actually could really work. Like,
and then her talking,
and yeah, like it's not been a good run as a heel, and it's kind of leaned on Sasha a lot as well, which says a lot.
Exactly. And she got a nice butt.
That's what she's got going for her.
Yeah, the Bayley bubble is what I call it.
I think a lot of people would agree with that. I see it on social media all the time.
And what I don't understand about it is it's always been there. It's been there since NXT. But when the ponytail went away, it's like it took focus away from her head and moved it down to her butt.
And I'm sure she's happy with that.
That's why she wear these pants that she wear now. She wear tight leather pants now. She know what she doing.
I mean,
most of the women know what they're doing.
I know if I wore tight leather pants, like heads would turn. In a good way.
Because they're going to be figuring out how the hell you got yourself in them pants.
It's not good. It's not a good sight, really. I think my wife would even divorce me if she saw me fucking wearing stuff like that.
Man, we ain't gonna even talk about that shit. But anyway,
but yeah, I think we'd book Bayley versus Sasha. I think that's an easy one. Now this one is something that is completely up in. I mean, there's the obvious go-to, which I'm going to avoid because that's just boring. But that leaves me in a difficult situation where I don't know who else he would face. The Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn, newly crowned. Obviously, the easy route would be, let's just have Braun Strowman, have a rematch with him. Like, that's not a thing in WWE anymore. Like, this whole rematch clause thing is gone, although it seems to happen quite often regardless. I honestly don't know who he would face. I cannot wrap my head. Maybe Kofi could step up to the plate, but then you're kind of leaving like Big E in a situation where, because at the moment without Woods they are a tag team. It's not like a trio where one can go off and do their own thing. To like what you were even saying and anything, if Xavier Woods was healthy and on the roster, I feel like any one of those three of the New Day could went up for the Intercontinental title. Yeah. Maybe Xavier Woods, because I don't think he's ever held a single title. Not at all. No. I mean, he's held multiple tag team titles, and I don't think he's ever been given the chance to shine as a singles competitor, because since he debuted, he's been paired with somebody, not intentionally as a tag team partner, but with somebody. R-Truth. Then, he eventually got with the New Day, but he was always with somebody. So, I mean, I think that would be a good opportunity for him. But, I mean, if I had to pick between the three, I would put it on Big E again. I mean, he is a former Intercontinental Champion, but I would like to see it more of a current rendition of that. Yeah, I mean, I think I've only seen like 2, maybe 3 singles matches with Woods, and I think there was one that was like outstanding. Like he really, I can't remember who it was against. But I know, like, I remember, like, sitting back and going, like, fuck, like, Woods can go.
Yeah, he falls in with people of the likes of Elias, who I feel could be Intercontinental Champion or U.S. Champion easily. I mean, but he is so much of a character, and his gimmick is so fucking solid, you forget how well he can work in the ring.
Yeah, and to be honest, actually, you just saying Elias has actually answered this question for me. I would have Elias versus Sami Zayn for that Intercontinental title. And they've had history in the last couple of weeks as well, so it makes sense.
Yeah, he's been weaved throughout that story and whatnot. So, I mean,
And it led to Cesaro giving us some cowbell, so I'm more and a terrible T-shirt on WWE Shop. But, like, so, just as just going off trail a little bit here, I do this all the time on my show. You'll get used to it. Tangents are a thing. Whenever Cesaro seems to have like a standout moment, like regardless of whether it's good or not, he gets a T-shirt. So like when he like smacked his like teeth against the ring post, a day later he had a T-shirt with that face on it, and then he's hitting some cowbell, and then a day later he has a T-shirt saying "Give me more cowbell" or whatever the fuck that thing said. Like, it's ridiculous.
Right now, I think you're rocking a wrestling purist T-shirt right now.
I
it's
quite
almost like the
one.
American flag. Yeah,
actually, that one actually makes sense. Not that I would go out and buy it, but it makes more sense to his character and his ability and everything, rather than just a cowbell gimmick.
And, and that's another missed opportunity right there with Cesaro. You can put Cesaro, just to kind of go back around to viable contenders and anything for any title. I believe at any given moment you can drop Cesaro in any one of these title matches and nobody would even really freaking care. I'm not talking about care like, oh, I don't want to see this. I'm talking about like care like, I don't care how the fuck he got here, but I'm glad he's here.
You're just grateful. You're just grateful that he's actually showed up and he's having a match. Yeah.
So he is the universal alternate. So anybody that we couldn't think of to put into a male championship match, put Cesaro in that motherfucker.
Like he is the new constant of this whole thing. But if he was a face, I would be saying Zayn versus Cesaro. But unfortunately, he is aligned to Sami Zayn, which I guess could feed into a little storyline. You could have Cesaro turn babyface on Zayn, and you could just say like an elimination chamber, like Zayn. Cesaro did all the hard work. Zayn fucking swooped on in, picked up the win. Cesaro's disgruntled about it.
I have a question about you.
Go.
A question for you, not about you.
What food do you like?
Yes, exactly. What's your favorite color? Say red.
It is red.
But
baby.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
But do you, other than WWE, do you keep up with like New Japan or anything like that?
I try to, but because there's so much going on. Like WWE is like something that's really like is easily accessible to me. It's on
I understand.
Like it's on TV for me. I've got the network. I'm subscribed to that and have been for years. So it's easy to get into that. I try and keep up with AEW like on social media, but I don't watch Dynamite as much as I would like to. And like New Japan is like something I've always wanted to get into and have struggled like massively, like just to find. Well, I can't find it anywhere on TV. If I had to watch it, it'd be online or on New Japan World. But I just haven't got around to it. But I want to.
Now, I said that to say this. Well, I asked that to say this. I was introduced to New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom 9. That's when Jeff Jarrett went over there and he made the deal with them to have it like the pay-per-view publicized for American audiences, to make it more accessible. And that's when I was introduced to Shinsuke Nakamura. So that was my first taste of, the greatness that is Shinsuke Nakamura. Since he's been in WWE, he's been greatly watered down, in my opinion. But compared to what I saw of his performances with in New Japan, and even going back a little bit further, just searching on YouTube before what I saw of him in Wrestle Kingdom 9, I seen some good shit, especially with him and Carl Anderson, who was very underrated in a bad spot for what they got him compared to New Japan. But it's just like, I seen so many great things from him. I seen him put on so many great matches with so many great competitors, and to see the work that he's done in WWE outside of his cool ass entrance in music, either iteration of the music, I feel sad for this guy. But my question to you is, I done said what I said just now. I mean, you can kind of take that in. He was great over here and he's not so great over here. You can see that with your own eyes.
Yeah.
But do you think it's a money thing or a comfortable, I can't say the word right, comfortability thing for a lot of these guys to where, like, you know, they make the jump from where they used to be this highly acclaimed, highly sought after guy, then they come to WWE, get all this money, and they get lazy and lackadaisical and comfortable and shit. Do you think that's a thing, or what is it?
I'm not sure, because you have guys who like actively pursue like releases. So you've had like Luke Harper, the Revival have tried numerous times. Mike Bennett's another guy. Kenta, like there's. It's a difficult one because I don't know like the benefits that obviously I know some of the benefits that WWE offers, but
yeah,
like I mean I think the location might be one for Shinsuke because he likes his surfing and all that kind of stuff, and there's plenty of places in the States where he can like go surfing and like enjoy it. I don't know what Japan's like on the surfing front, but maybe just even happy.
Yeah, and to throw a little bit more on that for you to think upon, I mean, Shinsuke is up there in age. He's been wrestling for a long time, so this can be like his Twilight tour and everything. Much like how we was talking about Asuka. Asuka's not young either. She's almost in her 40s as well. Yeah. And she's been wrestling for a long-ass time. So, I mean, you know, as much as I hate, you know, as I displayed earlier, like, I don't like what they did with Asuka, you know, compared to her coming from NXT and being this dominant champion and all this other stuff or whatnot. But she is coming to the end of her career, you know, and a lot of people that have beat her most recently are people that are still young in their career. So I can understand, you know, why she does what she does or why she allows those things. Because, you know, ultimately they got to say yes to what they are tasked with. You know, it comes down to what the performer is willing to do.
Yeah.
So I can understand Asuka being what I think she's 39 right now. So is Shayna Baszler, but she hadn't been wrestling as long as everybody else has. She's been doing MMA and all this other shit. But yeah, Shinsuke is damn near in his 40s or might be in his 40s. AJ Styles is in his 40s. Fucking, you know, all these people that is relatively new to us because a lot of people are just only acclimated to WWE, like how you were saying. It's accessible. It's easier to get to rather than Ring of Honor or Impact or New Japan or whatever else have you. Because anybody that pop up on WWE right now is ground zero, a brand new wrestler, regardless of their age and how long they've been wrestling. It's a brand new fucking wrestler, you know?
And that's a shame, to be honest. But like, I get like that they can't acknowledge you know, like other companies. Although they I think Kurt Angle like randomly dropped in Impact, like I think when he was GM last year. He said like I think it was when Owens and Sami Zayn were paired together.
Yeah, he said like, you can go work at TNA.
Yeah, you go work TNA. Like it was just like whoa, Jesus. But they'll allude to it.
Yeah, what was great about that though, at the time, TNA didn't exist as a company anymore. It's strictly Impact because it got bought out by Anthem. So TNA technically didn't exist anymore. But TNA is always associated with Impact. So, I mean, that was the hidden gem in the joke.
That's how they get away with it.
Exactly.
But now they're just vague and just say, oh, AJ Styles or Finn Balor or, you know, whoever. Oh, they've been wrestling in Japan. They've done wrestling in Japan.
They've been wrestling in Japan.
But where in Japan, Michael Cole? Where in Japan?
In this other company.
I completely see your point because like even like when you look at like Nakamura's debut with WWE, obviously NXT, that match with Sami Zayn, which funnily enough could also be amazing. Imagine like a rematch of Zayn versus Nakamura at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. Like that match was so good, and like that was my first exposure to Nakamura, and I thought like this guy is going to be like the guy. Like this is insane. And then obviously over time that's dwindled massively, sadly. But
and you know, if you ever listen to the Edge and Christian podcast when they still had it, they talked about Nakamura as well in the same regard, to where they saw him in New Japan and the rock star that he really was compared to what he was doing in WWE. And they would often say on their podcast that like there's a switch that needs to be flipped to where, you know, And then they gave him benefit of the doubt, and maybe he's adjusting to this style, yada 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 yada. But they were also in agreement to where like this isn't the Nakamura that they used to.
Yeah, and like even as somebody who like isn't exposed to what Nakamura did like pre WWE, like even I'm aware that he is not like performing at the level that he should for whatever reason. Like we don't really know if if he is unhappy or if he's just kind of biding his time, just seeing out his career. We don't know, but it is a shame because there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, because they should have pulled the trigger at that WrestleMania in New Orleans with him versus AJ Styles. And what was weird about it for me, because like I was there in attendance, and to know that people like Minoru Suzuki and other people that he worked with hand in hand with in New Japan were there in the audience in attendance to watch him perform, and he didn't win, that kind of upset me to a certain extent. And I was just like, wow, they didn't let him win.
It was a surprise. It was a very, very big surprise.
Yeah, but that's the WWE thing.
So Intercontinental Championship wise, I've forgotten who actually. I said Zayn Elias. Is that what we're going with?
I would like that, opposed to what we'll probably get is a rematch of Strowman and Sami Zayn. And it's ultimately what it is just damn Sami Zayn talked it up because he is a great promo guy. Nobody can lay a finger on him. Nobody has laid a finger on him since he's been back. And just him weaseling his way into this title opportunity, that's the payoff to this feud ultimately. Somebody getting their fucking hands on him, which Braun Strowman is that guy to give him his hands.
Yeah, and it's going to be a squash, and it's going to be disappointing, and they were just going to be like, okay, great. Brilliant.
And then ultimately, Shinsuke and Cesaro is going to suffer because they're going to get in some kind of shenanigans, and they're going to get the best. They're going to get bested, and Sami Zayn might lose.
I'm based on that alone. Like if that very match goes ahead, like that would be like on the bottom of the barrel in terms of excitement. Like it would be a foregone conclusion unless WWE pull like a big surprise and have Sami win somehow. Like he suddenly turns into like the masterclass wrestler that we know he is, and like best Braun. Like that would be best case scenario. But let's be honest, we ain't getting that.
and in most recent news, Gronkowski has just signed with WWE. So, but ultimately, I what's funny about that is I think he might have a match with Jinder Mahal. Because of their interactions and that battle royal or whatever and all that shit.
Oh god, that's really something to look forward to, isn't it?
Yeah.
and any interactions with Mojo. Yeah, it's not going to be fun. So moving over to Raw, we got the United States Championship. We keep on the mid-card train.
Hold on. Wait.
Whoa, hey, go.
All right, damn. You already said it. I was about to say, I can't even remember who the United States title holder is. I was about to try to guess, but you already said it.
What does that say about it? Yeah, Andrade is the current US champion, and again, somebody who doesn't have a match. This is a weird conundrum.
Yeah, this is a weird conundrum because anytime in recent times that I can ascertain, if I'm using that word correctly, anytime we've got a hot Latino superstar, it's always a feud with another past or present Latino star. So look at what we got right now. We got motherfucking Angel Garza, who has been called up from 205 Live NXT. Andrade, you're seeing Andrade, whatever the fuck his name is. One of those three names. So we got Angel Garza, Andrade, Rey Mysterio, and Humberto Carrillo, who I believe out of those four names that I just named has the best theme music of all time. That I was there in attendance for the Royal Rumble, which I mentioned previously, and that music, the theme music, just bumped so great through the audience and the speakers and everything, and it was fucking amazing. So they need to drop that on iTunes and Spotify, because I need to download that to my device so I can listen to it in the car.
Oh, that is like that's a rough spot in my life. Is that the fact that WWE Music or whoever runs that thing has not released a single theme song since May last year. Like, it's disgusting. Like, there are so many great themes kicking around at the moment, and we just don't have access to them unless you like go on YouTube and find somebody else that is somehow
on a side note. On a side note, one theme song that I could not wait to download was the Bray Wyatt Fiend, his new music.
We did get that. We did get that.
Yeah, I love that. I downloaded it immediately.
It's very, very good. Like that whole entrance at SummerSlam was just like, oh.
With the head or whatever. Oh man, that was fucking immaculate. That was amazing.
It was a simple.
But yeah, yes. But Latinos are facing Latinos all the time. Yeah,
and it has been that. It's been that way for like months.
Alberto
now,
Del Rio.
Well, yeah.
Alberto Del Rio didn't face anybody but Rey Mysterio. And anytime they get a new Latino star, Rey Mysterio mysteriously appears back on the main roster.
And then you had like Sin Cara as well. Like Sin Cara, like you're you're paired with Alberto now for the next 6 weeks. Enjoy. Kalisto, mate, you pay yourself with Sin Cara, you be a tag team with him for a little while, and then you can crack on with a feud with Alberto or Rey or like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
they keep the Latinos segregated to each other. They don't venture out into nobody else.
That being said, though, like my ideal US title match at Mania would involve all those 4 Latino stars in a ladder match.
Ladder match. I wasn't thinking about it that way, but a 4-way match would be good as well.
Like they've all been interacting with each other a lot in like some way.
All of them have taken the hammerlock DDT to the concrete.
There's a common denominator, and it's getting your head driven into some concrete.
And 2 of them are at least managed by Zelina Vega.
Yeah. That's the only logical match I can see with the US title, especially only a couple of weeks out. Like that just seems to be where it would go.
Yeah,
but throw that ladder stipulation in there, I think gives it that little bit of a boost because you got. Yeah, I mean, high flyers in ladder matches. Give me that any day of the week.
What do you think about just either a hardcore match or a no DQ match? Because to be fair, the only reason I kind of shy away from the ladder match is because of the mobility of Rey Mysterio. I know he still looks great in the ring, whatever, but his knees and ankles is just like shot the fuck up. He's had 9 knee surgeries to date.
I mean,
a ladder match might be kind of.
I mean, if they went with the fatal 4-way option and literally just left it at that, it's no DQ anyway. So you could throw,
true.
You could throw like
chairs and all that other crap in there,
and DDTs onto concrete and whatever you want. So even if it was just like a straight up fatal 4-way, that would definitely work.
Yeah.
And that would be I'd say that's the more ideal way to go with the US title because honestly, I don't see like anybody else who can step up and do it.
Now, who do you think should win, though?
Ooh.
Because, I'm looking at Humberto. He should have been one because he hasn't had, 30 United States title matches.
Yeah, I mean, the Elimination Chamber, I think it's the 4th time he's faced Andrade for that US title and lost. So I honestly don't think it should be him that gets it. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan either, to be completely honest. Rey Mysterio, we've had him as US champion. You know what? I'd be happy with Angel Garza being US champion. Because...
You know what? When you was making your point, I started to think about that as well. Angel Garza would be a good pick.
Because he was
good. Just yes, exactly, and he just came off a good cruiserweight championship win.
Because he obviously went to. I think it was. What was that tournament called? It was like the breakout. I think it was the breakout tournament. Like I remember, that was the first time I've ever seen him, and I was like, "This guy is really good." And then obviously over time,
and he stole that pants gimmick.
Did you see that time when Tony Nese powerbombed his pants?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he had him. He flipped over him on the turnbuckle. It was going to be like one of the like sunset flip kind of powerbombs they always do. But instead of taking Garza with him, he just took his pants. And it wasn't even just like he took his pants and went, oh shit, I took his pants. He full on powerbombed that shit. Sit out powerbombed that shit. It was.
Oh man, I need to go
and find it.
Was that 205 Live?
That was NXT.
Oh man, I gotta go back and find it.
Oh, it's a treat. It is a treat. It was a really good match as well, actually, to be fair, outside of that.
Yeah, Tony Nese is good as well.
Yeah, I love Tony Nese. I think he's... I haven't seen him... I mean, I haven't watched 205 Live for a very long time, so maybe he's on there, but I've not seen him for so long.
I think the first time I ever seen Tony Nese perform, it was live for WrestleMania weekend. It was a ROH show in Dallas, and he faced Donovan Dijak, who is now Donovan Dijakovic. And that was before Tony Nese had a big full-on beard and everything, whatever. You still the muscly guy that we see today, but him and Donovan Dijak went up against each other, and Donovan Dijak almost killed himself 3 times in that match.
That doesn't surprise me. He's a very agile... He's very much like... I think he's obviously a little bit more than Drew, but like for his size and stuff, like he's a very, very agile guy. Like it's very impressive.
If you have the time, anybody listening and you yourself as well, go back and look at some of his previous matches with him and Keith Lee on the Independents. You know, they doing good matches now, currently, you know, with their feud and whatnot, but the stuff that they did on the Independents is just like crazy. It's like they doing backflips out of choke slams to each other. And, you know, that's just crazy. Think about what I'm saying. Those two dudes, you know, just the mass that you see, the height, the girth, and they try to choke slam each other, and they cut a backflip out of the choke slam. Listen to what I'm saying to you. They cut a backflip out of a choke slam. Marinate on that.
Yeah. Especially Keith Lee. Like he's like the things he can do are it's nuts. It really is nuts. Like I can barely get out of bed in the morning. Never mind do moonsaults and shit like that. Like it's insane.
Say shit again.
Shit.
You said it because I said it that way, but you said shite.
Did I? Shite. Yeah, I think we treat them as like two separate words here. Like it's just like you either get shit or you get shite.
They both sound pretty nasty, but anyway, what's the next title week?
So the next title, well, we're going into the tag titles now. Okay. So we're going to go Raw Tag. So Street Profits are the current holders of that title or titles. Coming off the back of their little feud with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, or now Murphy, I believe they got rid of Buddy, shocker. Yeah. I think logically the way to go would be to have them go against AOP.
Yeah, I think AOP, if they did that, I think AOP would pull it off of them.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember if they faced off in NXT against each other.
I believe they did.
I know that the Street Profits have had like insane matches against Viking Raiders down in NXT, which were really, really good. But I can't remember if they had like really good matches against AOP. But regardless, like it just shows that they can go against like the bigger guys. Like, and if that ends up being the thing, we have the Street Profits versus AOP. Like that's the way I'm going with this whole rebooking thing. I would be more than happy to see that match because you don't really see AOP in ring that much these days. But like towards the back of their like NXT run, like they were really good. Like they were putting on some really good matches against like DIY and Revival and TM61. I think they had a really good match in the Dusty Classic. Like they can put on good matches, and I'm sure they would against the Street Profits as well.
Yeah, you bring up TM61 and whatnot. I automatically think about the guy out of the group, not Thorne, but the other one. he left. Said he, I guess from what I've read or what I've heard from the internet, which is a reliable source, right? That he got burnt out. He had family issues because, he was wrestling in the United States and I think his family was overseas. He left, got out of his NXT contract. The motherfucker popped up in New Japan. I was like, okay.
Saying that, it is closer to Australia, so...
Yeah, true.
However, it's still not in Australia, so it's a bit of a middle finger there to NXT, which is surprising, because they weren't actually booked that badly, I don't think.
So, what are you thinking for as far as opponents for the Street Profits? I know you said AOP, which I can kind of see that. Because AOP just been kind of there, just in the background, being menacing and shit. Which I believe, I think one of them got hurt, that's why they were away so long. But I believe by now they would have had the tag titles at least once. So if that was a match option, I believe AOP would come out on top.
Yeah, even though it's still early, like in the Street Profits reign, the Street Profits are going to be around for a while, so they'll win it again.
Montez Ford.
Oh, Montez Ford is something else. I love that guy.
Now I don't know how factual this is, but when Street Profits was in their heyday down at NXT or whatever, I can specifically remember a segment where they was walking through Full Sail or whatever, just looking at nostalgic pictures that they had up on the wall for the NXT wing of it. And Montez Ford said Angelo Dawkins had been there for 10 years at that point already. So he was referring to him, getting his opinion about some shit or whatnot. Mm. So Antonio Dawkins has been in NXT or just in their system for 10 years already. That's kind of equivalent to Shawn Spears, who has been in WWE for forever, which you would have never known because of, just accessibility or what we was talking about earlier, whatever. But Shawn Spears, or what was it, Ty Dillinger?
Yeah.
Had been in WWE for a long ass time. You can remember him getting super kicked by Shawn Michaels when there was DX.
Oh, yeah.
So he been in that company for a long ass time, but as I was saying earlier in the freaking show, damn, when somebody pop up on NXT TV or WWE TV for the first time or whatever, that's a brand new fucking wrestler, regardless of how long they've been in the business or how old they are. So Antonio Dawkins, every time that I've seen him in any iteration of NXT, he has always been a tag team guy. He's been in multiple tag teams since I've seen him. I've even seen tag team partners turn on him and beat his ass.
I think he'd get the opportunity to turn now, though, because I think Montez Ford, you couldn't have him as a heel.
No. Montez Ford is other levelly or whatever. It's just like he is in the range of Ultimate Warrior. To me, it's just it's the character, it's just the personality that he, and I say Ultimate Warrior because in the vein of how he shake the ropes and shit, just like the Ultimate Warrior, it gives me those vibes. I'm in the interview. Yeah, so that's just, I don't know, that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think Montez Ford at some point is going to break away and he's going to be a big star. But so we're looking at we'll go Street Profits versus AOP for WrestleMania. I'm pretty happy with that. Now this is where we're going to struggle again, and we'll probably go with just the easy option: SmackDown Tag Team titles. We've got Miz and Morrison, which I really don't care about as a group, as a tandem.
I like them. I like them a lot.
I just don't. It just doesn't work for me. There's just something about it. I don't know what it is.
I think, and on a side note, I think Morrison should have came back a while ago. But that's just me, though. I always liked him.
See, I missed like a lot because I went away from wrestling for a while, and I missed a lot of his like main singles drive. So I've like it's annoying because I know like he was a constant and he was always around. He was always like doing some insane shit like all the time, and I missed out on all of that. So when he came back, it was kind of like, okay, he's back. You know, it didn't really do anything for me. And then putting him with Miz, now the tag team champions, it's just kind of like, okay, it's a thing.
It was kind of cookie cutter for me because it's like I seen the news and everything that he signed the contract and he was coming back. I was like, they got to put him with the Miz. I just felt that, and they did. And I was like, yes, awesome.
But as to who they would face, like, I'm gonna go with the Usos.
Yeah, and what we was talking about earlier. I mean, that could be any number of people on SmackDown because majority of SmackDown roster is either a faction or a tag team.
And even if they're not, like, there's literally no hesitation to go, yep, you two are going to be paired up this week. Like, you could put... in fact, I refuse to even fucking say that name. You could put Chad Gable with Apollo Crews, and they'd just be a tag team.
Ew.
Exactly.
Ew.
It's not great, but they would do it.
Apollo Crews, another missed opportunity. Chad Gable, a very highly missed opportunity.
Yes. And then you throw them both together in a tag team, which would flounder. And then you have Chad Gable in yet another tag team.
Let's just analyze that. So is we predisposed to thinking that Chad Gable is only great in a tag team with a black guy? I mean, we could say he was a tag team partner with Robert Roode, but that was asinine. But he has truly shined when he had a black tag team partner, a la Shelton Benjamin.
I forgot about Shelton.
Yeah, exactly. Shelton Benjamin and freaking what was the guy that got who's Kurt Angle's son? Jason Jordan.
Jason Angle.
Jason Angle, yes. Which they're keeping that angle alive.
Right now. It is alive and well.
Now, hold on. Let's even visit that again. This is my grand scheme of things with that whole thing about him being his son and all this stuff. This is how I envisioned it for that year. I kind of figured that because they were doing it, but Jason Jordan got hurt, so it was just like I envisioned it as Jason Jordan would guilt trip Kurt Angle so much to be like, "Hey, why don't you give me a title opportunity for this title here or this match and whatnot?" And be like, "Nah, I can't do that. There's somebody here." But like, oh, so like dad, he would play that guilt trip because like he just finding out that this is his son. He wasn't here for so many years, and he would play on that, and ultimately it would lead to like, you're not really my fucking dad, and damn, I just been using you to get this, this, and this, and it would lead to Kurt Angle's last match at WrestleMania against Jason Jordan. If done correctly, with all the the evidence I presented just now, I believe that would have been fucking amazing. And that's what I thought they was going to do, but Jason Jordan got hurt.
And to be fair, you could have. I mean, the logical thing for me would have been the Chad Gable side of things because, like, he's got the ankle lock, and like he's got the All-American background. I don't know if, in fact, I think Jason Jordan actually might have that All-American background as well. I'm not sure. But like,
he does.
But like Chad does like all the German suplexes and all that kind of stuff. So it was just like, surely Chad is the one that should be the son here. But obviously they didn't go that way. But I think either way, if you had that like WrestleMania payoff match, regardless of which of the two American Alpha that it ended up being, it was always going to be like good. Like Kurt Angle's like last wrestling side of things, his last run was
fucking Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I mean that's.
See, and now think about that in contrast to what I just presented to you. I mean, you can even replace, Jason Jordan with Chad Gable. Still, it would have been light years better than what we got with goddamn Baron Corbin, which I can understand since Jason Jordan got hurt, But we got Baron Corbin, which I will add, and I will come to his defense at the same time, saying that he's he gets it. He is a heel of this modern era and whatnot.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would have rathered Jason Jordan or Chad Gable.
Yeah, and obviously when Jason Jordan got injured, I believe Chad Gable and Angle faced off on like a random episode of Raw on like Kurt Angle's like kind of like farewell tour to WrestleMania, and it was kind of like, you're doing this here, like come on, like this is your this is your Mania match. Like I think everybody had it pegged that was going to be the case, but obviously that's not what we got. We got a disappointing match.
And now this is 2 times in the career of Kurt Angle that I believe he got shafted out of his good rundown matches. So we'll flash back to TNA. There was a series of matches that Kurt Angle said that, I feel like I'm getting old, I'm losing a step, I'm not the guy that I used to be, and I want to prove myself. And he kind of did the thing that Ric Flair was doing. It was an ultimatum by Vince McMahon as well, but it was just like, the next match you lose is it for you. You're going to retire. That's how we got to Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair at the WrestleMania, to where he ultimately lost and he retired. But Kurt Angle had a similar thing going on at TNA. But his proclamation was he would face the top 10 wrestlers in TNA. And if he lost to any one of those top 10 wrestlers, he would retire. So this is what happened. He got through at least maybe, I can't remember the exact number, but I think he may have got through half. And then TNA did some clusterfuck tournament and everything, and they threw off Kurt Angle's whole thing, and he had to go do something else, and it just never was paid off. He did the same thing here in WWE, to where like he was doing a retirement tour and he was just facing off against Chad Gable and a whole bunch of other people that he wanted to have matches with before he stopped wrestling. But here now in this time, which would have been good matches years ago, it just fell flat because he can't really do it like how he used to do no more.
That's a shame because like Kurt Angle is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and like just to see him bow out in something that was so disappointing, it was a shame, but it is what it is. It's in the history books, and we cannot do anything about it. But on the tag title front, are we going Miz Morrison Usos? Yeah,
Miz Morrison Usos. I mean, even if you had to have an alternate, you can throw the New Day in there. I mean, that's not a problem. But what I think they should do is kind of find a way to shoehorn Heavy Machinery in there.
Oh yes, I was literally about to say that. I was just thinking in my head, what about Heavy Machinery? So this is kind of leading to a multi-man or a multi-tag team match. But
true.
I know we've just had it Elimination Chamber, but you could easily, you could have if the US title match wasn't a ladder match, you could have this one as the ladder match. You could have Miz and Morrison, New Day,
TLC.
You could have a TLC match. A TLC match representing like the modern. Well, I was saying that the modern kind of gist of TLC isn't exactly as good as it was, but I'm pretty sure I saw a TLC match recently, and I was like, that was really, really good. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably very, very wrong.
The world may never know.
But no, you could easily have that as in fact, yes, let's do that. Let's get the Usos in there, yes, but let's also add Heavy Machinery, and we'll throw the New Day in there as well. And we'll have like a modern day tag team WrestleMania TLC match. Oh,
word. So I mean, you would also maybe some kind of way try to get the freaking Rude and Ziggler in there.
Oh yeah,
because the only reason I say that is because after the Elimination Chamber, which they replayed tonight on this special edition of SmackDown.
Did they?
Yeah, they did because they did it in Full Sail and shit. Because of the Corona epidemic, or pandemic as they've been putting it in the news. But Heavy Machinery and Rude and Ziggler have something beyond what everybody else is doing. And I believe that's probably going to be a WrestleMania match going forward because of what's going on with Mandy Rose, Ziggler, and freaking the fat one.
Otis.
Otis, there you go. And just, the way the Elimination Chamber shaked out as well. So, I mean, I believe that's a continuation of that feud that can probably be carried on into a singles match, either on the pre-show or WrestleMania proper with Heavy Machinery, Ziggler, and Rude. So, if you could shoehorn them in the ladder match, I mean, it would only be to progress that feud, but also at the same time, you can exclude that group completely because they got their own shit going on.
And then I was saying that would actually work a little bit better if Heavy Machinery did go off and do their own thing, because obviously we had Hardy's, Dudley's, and ENC, so that's your 3 teams. So you got Miz Morrison, New Day, Usos, boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as far as the standard goes in the tag team division of SmackDown, Usos, New Day, and then you introduce the champions, which is Miz and Morrison. So yeah, that would work. A triangle ladder match.
I'd be more than happy to see either a ladder match, TLC match, just anything, to be honest, with those 3 teams. I'd be more than happy. Now, we're probably going to gloss over this one because I don't even think it will make the show. The 24/7 title I put down on this list.
Riddick Moss.
just give it to R-Truth.
Yeah, I mean, you find his way to finagle himself in there.
Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, give it to R-Truth. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like a coronavirus storyline based on how fucking R-Truth ends up winning it. Really wouldn't surprise me. But however it's done, just give that title back to that guy, because that title is nothing if it isn't around
without R-Truth.
R-Truth's waist, exactly. Or saying that, actually, to his credit, Drake Maverick as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's.
Shit, I would. Yeah, I forgot Cena, and that's sad to say. I forgot Cena was supposed to be facing the Fiend at WrestleMania, but I was like, shit, hell, just for shits and giggles, have Cena be the champion for a couple seconds.
It matches green shirt.
Exactly. Cena is a Power Ranger, man. He has every color scheme.
This actually works, yeah, because you could have John Cena take the title, and then R-Truth's been saying that obviously Cena's his childhood hero and all that shit, and then
see what we're doing? See what we're doing here? See how this works?
I like it. There we go. We've just booked the 24/7 title at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and from what I believe, a lot of people have been asking who the fuck is Riddick Moss and everything. He's been a guy down in NXT. There's also another guy that's been a tag team guy with I think 1 or 2 different partners. But from what I
Sabatelli, Tito Sabatelli. Yeah, I don't know where he is.
And I think and I think somebody else before him as well.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, he's like one of the top contenders in there, like when they do their performance in the combines and whatnot. And I think he's a former football guy too, so they looked highly upon him because he's athletically fit and all that other crap. So I guess they gave him a shot for whatever reason. But yeah, that's just kind of a little backstory of like we say his name and people be like, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
I'm all for it, to be fair. Like if you, I mean, there's always this complaint about WWE not building like new stars and stuff like that
because they won't get rid of the old ones.
But then they throw in these new guys like Riddick Moss, and they're just like they just shit all over it. It's like, come on, like just give the guy just like a minute to show what he can do, So
I'm just waiting for the day when Brock Lesnar is completely done. When and I believe this is it for Goldberg right here. So I mean we're here. So I'm just waiting for the day Brock Lesnar is done, Goldberg is done, the fucking Undertaker is fucking done. I have strong words and opinions for the Undertaker ever since that goddamn match with Roman Reigns at whatever WrestleMania that was, Orlando, I believe. So I have strong feelings and words for that, which I will not divulge right now because that'll just be a whole nother fucking segment in your show, and we just, ooh Lord.
Yeah. I could probably
ask
echo those sentiments as well.
Ask my wife about it. Ask my wife how I feel about the fucking Undertaker.
Hey, we can ask your wife in one of your upcoming shows.
Oh, I like your segue there.
There you go. There's the free plug on the house. You can have that.
Yes, it's the fourth annual Ask Miss B Rob, because that's what we call her on the internet. But every year for my birthday, which is March 29th, she graces me with her presence on my show, and I let the audience ask her random questions that she give her takes and opinions on and whatnot. So, hey, if you follow me on Twitter at 3R Show or on Instagram at the 3R Show, DM me or use the hashtag Ask Miss B Rob. Send me your questions. It can be about anything. Famous question that has been asked on the show, I think, every year since the show's inception is, does anal feel like pooping? So that's submitted by the Wheelbarrow Full of Dicks podcast.
That whole sentence is something I never thought would grace my ears.
Yeah, that's why I had to enunciate that for you.
Jesus Christ. Well, that's probably the best plug I've ever had a guest do on this show. So there's that.
You're welcome, because there's anal and dick in it. So plugging is what that's.
Oh wow.
Wow, entendres, innuendo. There you go.
Oh dear, this is just taking a sharp turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have one title left. And
what we got
is the NXT Women's Championship, because that is, of course, on the main card.
That was my point of contention there. It's just like, so we having an NXT takeover. Will it be absent of its women's championship match?
Good point. That is a very good point. I think they're having. And
we obviously know what this is for, right? It's just to establish NXT as that third brand, equal to Raw and SmackDown. That's why this card has been made this way. It's why they arguably, everybody has their own opinion about Charlotte. She is the top woman performer in that company. She is at legendary status. If she was to retire tomorrow due to injury or just of her own volition, I have no doubt in her short span of professional wrestling that she would go into the Hall of Fame. Just based on sheer title reigns, monumental matches, like first time evers that you can bring up, Charlotte or Sasha Banks has been tied to those events. So you get Charlotte Flair, and then you get the NXT champion at a WrestleMania. That is groundbreaking, that is monumental, and that pulls that brand up to equal status as Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, I completely agree. Whether that means Rhea wins it in the end, I don't know. I feel that's the way it should go. Because
exactly, you should go, yeah. But then again, we pull the whole thing with Flair. So now, internet rumors are just popular consensus to where they want Charlotte Flair to be as decorated as her father because she carries that lineage, she carries that name. It's been rumors for years since she started winning titles that they want her to surpass her father as far as title reigns go. And they've already scuffed up the numbers by getting rid of the Divas title and introducing the women's title, but they still count the Divas title and not it being the same thing. So they already fudging the numbers. So, it's just weird as fuck. But this is a monumental point in the for NXT and just the women's division in general.
I just find it so hard to call it. I really do.
Rhea Ripley should win because it's the Survivor Series situation to where they added NXT to this and they let NXT win because they wanted to establish NXT as a equal brand to the two they already had. They don't even call it developmental no more. They don't even call it, whatever. It's just. And I think even Triple H said it in a press conference or a conference call to where it's not a call-up anymore. It's a lateral move because they're equal. They're on the same plane.
Yeah, and that's why I like the fact that they've given NXT this spotlight at WrestleMania, because there's been a couple of years that have gone by and you've kind of gone, maybe they should like have a match on the card. I mean, they did it with, they did obviously with Survivor Series everything anyway, because NXT was part of the show. But if you took away those elimination matches and stuff like that, and had like just the NXT title match between Adam Cole and Pete Dunne, like that's a showcase of what those guys can do. And I think that ended up being the best match on that card. And they needed the amount of WrestleManias we've had over the last couple of years that really could have needed that NXT boost. And now we have one.
Now, to even combat that, though, this is the iffy part of it. If they want to, because I mean, this is just popular consensus from the internet, the wrestling community and whatnot, and what we have presented as far as evidence. They want to make NXT an established brand. But in doing that, if you wanted to make it like, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 3 brands independent of their own things and whatnot, do we combine NXT into the Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views? Because that would eliminate any NXT takeover and any, whatever they got going on down there. Because if they're to be on par, they all need to be on the same show. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think the issue that they would have with that is like they just have too many guys.
Exactly,
like,
and the shows will be longer, which people are complaining.
Like I'm doing some prep. Well, I have done some prep for the Dits versus Josh that is re-debuting on Monday. There you go. There's a free plug from myself with that show coming on. But I was watching Backlash because that's what we're going to review on Monday. And the show, I believe, clocked in at 2 hours and 48 minutes, I believe it was. I might be wrong. But it was somewhere around that region. And then you look now how long these things are. Like, I think Elimination Chamber was touching like 4 and a bit hours, I think it was. I might be wrong. But I know it was a lot longer than 3 hours. So I remember looking at it and going, oh, God.
What's been benefiting for these newer pay-per-views is they've been starting earlier, so they end earlier,
which is great for me.
Exactly, yeah. And like for me as well, because like it's on a Sunday and I got to go to work early as hell Monday or whatever. So if you can end that at 10 o'clock, I would be very appreciative.
Oh, ending a pay-per-view at 10 o'clock in the evening—that is a dream.
Well, not so much for you.
4 in the morning. And then you're just like, do I even bother going to sleep at this point?
Yeah, fuck it, right?
It's a conundrum.
Yeah, I gotta go drive this up now.
Yeah, you don't seem to be on your game. Yeah, I was watching Elimination Chamber last night. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, forget my weekly shower and whatnot. I gotta finish this pay-per-view.
They know the struggle. But yeah, I think we're. In fact, we didn't even say anything about it. We just accepted that it's going to be Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. Yeah, I wouldn't if it was going to be an NXT match, like purely like I'm happy with keeping it with Charlotte, but I think if it was going to be NXT exclusive, I would have put Io Shirai in there against Rhea Ripley because I think that would have torn the house down. And
a lot of people, I want your opinion on this. A lot of people jump on Sam Roberts' neck because of his opinions of Bianca Belair. What do you think about that?
What, of Bianca Belair or Sam Roberts' opinion?
Both.
Well, Bianca Belair, I think, is one of like the shining spots in not just the women's division in NXT, just NXT as a whole. Like you look at how like what she did at the Rumble, and then you look at everything that she's done with NXT in such a short space of time. Like she's kind of like a hybrid athlete and a hybrid wrestler. Like she's very strong, but she's also she's athletic as well. Like she's got a lot going for her, and she's got a very, very high ceiling. But like I mean, remind me again, like what did Sam Roberts like say? Because it was enough that Montez Ford is like not happy.
Well, for what I understand, because like I never really sought out the information, But Sam Roberts stuck with the opinion firm as to where he didn't think Bianca Belair was ready for a championship. You know, he felt like she needed more development. Her character needed more tweaking and, you know, just some other stuff. He didn't feel that she was ready for the main event spot. And I think he said it in a couple of harsher words or whatever, but that was his overall opinion, which I agree with, because I look at Bianca Belair. She is a superb athlete. She is different from what is presented on the women's roster. So is Io Shirai. But I don't think at any time that she was given the opportunity to have the NXT championship that she wasn't ready for it. I don't think she was ready for it. Because there's just something missing. You know, I don't know what it is, but there's something that's fucking missing.
I think her character game is there. Like she's got a decent promo game as well. Like in ring, like this is the thing. When I'm thinking, like I know how good Bianca Belair is now, but when I actually look back, I kind of go, what moveset does she actually have? Like I'm trying to think of any moves that she's done, and I'm actually struggling.
Well,
which makes me think that, you know, like it's she's not spectacular in the ring. Like I hope I'm wrong, and I can literally just go back and watch a Bianca Belair match and go, oh yeah, there you go. There's a reminder of how good she actually is. But I mean, Sam Roberts could definitely have gone about it in a very different way.
Yeah, but yeah, because I mean, I don't want to pull the race card, but I think that's kind of ultimately what it was from what I've perceived and seen or anything like that. It was just like, it was a white guy talking bad about a black girl. And that's kind of what everybody took away from it, you know? So it was just like, what if it was like, I don't know, Percy Watson or somebody of that color to say something bad about Bianca Belair? Would they receive that differently?
And I guess it doesn't help that Sam Roberts is the whitest of white guys.
Yeah, and that hair and that hairline don't help either.
He looks like, is it Carrot Top? The fucking ginger?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like his fucking cousin or something fucked up like that. I'm
yeah,
not a
he
fan.
He would be like Rutabaga Top or something. I don't know. Radish Top.
Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan of Sam Roberts, to be completely honest. He doesn't do anything for me, and I'm sure he doesn't do anything for a lot of people. I always see complaints every single time he's on screen. There's always, fucking Sam Roberts, here he is again. But NXT women's title wise, we are sticking with Rhea versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
And looking on my phone, that is all the titles nicely covered. And obviously, I think the first three we didn't rebook anything, but as we've and the last one, but as we've gone through, I think we've made some decent booking choices.
So, what about the Cruiserweight Championship?
Oh, we can throw the Cruiserweight title in there. So Jordan Devlin, of course, is the holder of said belt.
Yeah, which I have come a full 180 on. You know, I have had many, many complaints about Jordan Devlin. One, because I don't like his mentor and teacher, Finn Balor.
Oh.
Now, that, you know, that's a big point in contention with me and other wrestling fans, because they don't understand why the fuck I don't like Finn Balor. Let me tell you who I don't like. I don't like Finn Balor. And for those of you who track and watch New Japan, I don't like Kazuchika Okada. I don't like those two, which have been in PWG as number one freaking picks of their, you know, they top 500 or whatever the fuck. And just been heralded all over the internet as the best wrestlers in the world for gimmick and character, whatever the fuck. I don't like those two guys. And it's just like simply as put as, does everybody like broccoli? No. I just don't like them motherfuckers. I'm not saying that they are not the best in their craft. Not saying that if you put them on a card that they won't draw money. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying personally, me, B-Rob, I do not like them. It's not my cup of tea. So finding out that Jordan Devlin was trained by Finn Balor, and in the first, couple of matches that I've seen of him and I've come to know of him, he looks similar to Finn Balor as in body type and in ring gear, little bitty ass trunks, and the moveset is kind of similar. And that is to be, understood as because he was trained by fucking Finn Balor. But Jordan Devlin has completely turned my opinion around because I watch more matches from the NXT UK and I've seen more of his personality since they turned him heel and they gave him that edge and whatnot. I mean, they did the same thing with Finn Balor, and Finn Balor was a heel before he came to WWE and New Japan, which I didn't really fancy to, watching that footage as well. But I don't think I've seen enough of it. But anyway, Jordan Devlin, his current character, seeing him perform live at the, I forgot what NXT show it was here in Houston, Texas. I got to see him perform live and win the the freaking Cruiserweight Championship. He completely turned my opinion around because he did finally separate himself from the Finn Balor stigma that I put on him. And that's just my opinion.
And I'm glad that you've done that 180 as well, because Jordan Devlin is somebody that I am, like, he's in my top 5 at the moment. Like, I just love everything about him. Like, I've not seen him have a bad match. I've seen him wrestle live maybe 3 times now, I think it is. And whenever he comes out, I'm always excited to see him. Like, I just think he's fantastic. But as to who he actually faces, I mean, you could look at.
It can be anybody from any side.
Yeah, you could look at Leo Rush getting back in there again. They've.
Yeah.
I think they had a match quite recently. I think it was really, really good. So, to be honest, if I had to pick a cruiserweight title match, I'd throw Leo Rush in there.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not well versed in what's going on in 205 Live. But just to throw somebody out there as a nomination for a match with the 205, the Cruiserweight Championship, Oni Lorcan. I would throw him out there just because of his Twitter acumen.
Everything is shouting.
Yes. And then you throw it up at the end.
Yeah, I do like Oni Lorcan, actually. That's not actually a bad
pick.
Yeah,
he does. Mm-hmm.
Because he's
Oni Lorcan.
He's quite, I wouldn't say he's, like, stiff, but, like, when you see him, like, strike and hit and all that stuff, like, it looks hard and rough. Like, you put him in with Jordan Devlin, who kind
of... Him and Danny Burch.
Oh, Danny Burch is fantastic. I love Danny Burch. And I'm not biased either because he's English. But... Yeah, let's make it a triple threat. Fuck it. We'll have Devlin, Leo Rush, and Oni Lorcan.
Yeah. Now, who would you put the strap on, though?
I'd keep it on Devlin.
Yeah, I give that as well. Because, I don't know. Leo Rush, I feel like he falls into that category that I was talking about earlier with Cesaro. You can drop him into any one of those title matches and he would do pretty well. But as far as Leo Rush goes, I think his ceiling would be, what everybody calls the mid-card level, Intercontinental, USA, and the freaking 205, those lower card belts, not no heavyweight shit, of course, obviously.
Yeah, I'm actually a really big fan of Leo Rush. Like, since he's, like, come back... after being Lashley's like mouthpiece, like seeing him like strut his stuff in NXT. I don't know if he was on 205. Like I said, I haven't watched 205 for a very, very long time. He probably was. Like he's had a lot of very, very good matches in such a short space of time. So like I am a Leo Rush fan. And if the title ended up going back to him, I wouldn't complain. But it's Devlin's time to shine.
Exactly, I agree wholeheartedly. And if you would have caught me maybe a year ago, or maybe even a little bit less, I would not agree with you at this moment. Because I thought Jordan Devlin was the shits.
But now you've seen the light.
Yes, exactly. The Irish eyes are smiling upon me. Another thing, you brought up Leo Rush quickly about the mouthpiece and whatnot. Missed opportunity, MVP. And I say that because MVP, for me, is one of the all-time greatest United States champions, in my opinion. I've enjoyed him and his work consistently in that time frame. I got to meet him in person. In him, oh, man, it was just... Anytime the United States title is brought up, aside from Booker T, I always think MVP. Then after MVP is Diamond Dallas Page. But that's my top United States championship holders and whatnot. And MVP is just up there for me.
And now you've got MVP back.
Yeah, and look what the fuck they doing to him, and it make me sad every time.
I mean, I'm quite enjoying his role, like, a little bit. Like this, I like.
Well,
that he's...
this is the thing. This is the thing. It's just, he said it himself. He only came back like at the Royal Rumble because he has a younger child now, and he wanted this child to have the opportunity to see him perform. But at the same time, he also said, hell, if they're going to keep paying me, I'm going to keep coming back. So I cannot fault a man, a human being, for that, to, better himself financially and to take care of his family. I cannot never, ever fault a human being for that. But as far as what I've been getting, I am so sad because he just been coming back getting his ass whipped, and I don't like that.
Yeah, the concerto probably wasn't nice for him to take.
Oh man, I was in here so upset. Ask my wife about it. Which you can do on the special edition of Ask Miss B-Rob.
Boom. Bonus plug.
Oh man, I'm so upset by that. And I say the same thing about the Undertaker. I hate it so much that he's back at all. In the year 2020, 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014, fucking 2013, 2012. Any of those years, I'm sad about that shit. Especially after the Roman Reigns WrestleMania match, to where he put all his shit in the motherfucking ring, folded up so nicely and ever so neatly. I actually cried goddamn tears in front of my motherfucking wife, to where I've been with my wife going on 13 fucking years, and I never cried or showed any sad emotions like that in front of her, because I'm the motherfucking man in the relationship, and I'm supposed to be strong and shit. But at this fucking particular moment in Orlando, Florida, to where Roman Reigns beat the goddamn Undertaker, I cried actual fucking tears in front of my wife, and it made me feel like a bitch. And then the motherfucker came back and wrestled again after that. I was like, you motherfucker.
You lost man points for no reason.
I will never forgive you, ever. If WrestleMania is on, because I am a ticket holder, I am a plain ticket holder, and if it goes on and The Undertaker has a fucking match with AJ Styles, I will live stream me not watching the motherfucking match, because that's how adamantly I feel about The Undertaker wrestling in goddamn 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... he's
sorry son of a bitch.
He's mugged you right off.
Fuck that guy. Once again, this is my caveat though. As a human being, I will never fault you for bettering yourself financially to take care of yourself and your family or anything like that. But storyline, character-wise, fuck you. Because there's no reason a 50-something-year-old ass man should be in the wrestling ring wrestling anybody. God damn you.
Yeah, I echo that.
Sorry, son of a bitch. And then just think about this in comparison. Kane, the character Glenn Jacobs, is older than the man Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, and he is way in better shape than him. Think about that. I would rather Kane still be in the ring wrestling than the motherfucking Undertaker.
Oof. Whoa.
Harsh words. I
take.
said it. Fuck you.
Nah, I can see your point, because the Undertaker, like, I'm with you. Like when he put everything in the ring and kind of did his like walking off into the sunset thing, I thought that is the perfect way.
Poetic.
I mean, the match itself was shit, but that ending was the perfect way to say goodbye. Yeah, exactly. It was poetic. It was perfect. Like, you could not have given.
I cried actual fucking tears.
And that's how
God
effective
damn
it was. And then he just comes back.
Because, like, for me, I mean, what invoked that emotion is, like, he wrestled as long as I've been alive and a wrestling fan. And he has been consistent throughout my wrestling experience. And for me to see that and knowing in my heart that was the end, and it not be, you killed me. You stabbed me. I was like, you son of a bitch. I will never forgive you.
Yeah. That's not good.
And another motherfucker, Rick goddamn Flair. My top 3 WrestleManias are WrestleMania 23 or whatever what it was, the trilogy. It was Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. So I think that was 23 or 24.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was in succession. So I'm gonna say it was 24, 25, and 26. Because 24 was Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair. Then after that was Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. Then after that was Undertaker, Shawn Michaels 2. That was my 3. That's my top 3 WrestleManias. For those 3 matches in particular. I don't give a fuck about the rest of the card. Those 3 matches in particular was my top 3 all-time favorite because of what they represented. Ric Flair, greatest of all time, one of the greatest of all time. And this was his retirement match. It was a poetic ending, but this bitch would leave to go wrestle on the Independence and in TNA. Well into his fucking 60s. You sorry son of a bitch. And then Shawn Michaels and Undertaker would have this historic rivalry to where somewhere in there, Shawn Michaels was dubbed a Hall of Famer and inducted into a Hall of Fame. Now he's a 2-time Hall of Famer because he's in there with DX as well. So Shawn Michaels, he gets half a pass because that motherfucker left and never came back until they threw that Saudi money at his ass, and then he couldn't resist. But I didn't see those matches, so I don't freaking count those.
They don't exist. They never happen.
They don't exist. I never seen them. They don't exist. Fuck them. So Shawn Michaels get half a pass for me. Now the sorry motherfucker known as the goddamn Undertaker here in 2020. This bitch, he could have ended it when he wrestled Triple H in that Hell in a Cell, and they dubbed it as an end of an era. That could have been his last fucking match. He could have retired as the only person to have a consistent WrestleMania streak and never been defeated. That could have been historic on so many fucking levels for that character and wrestling as a fucking whole. But this old bitch continued to wrestle after that, which is okay. It's okay. I forgive that. But he lost the streak to the motherfucking Brock Lesnar, which made Brock Lesnar what the fuck he is today, which a lot of people have qualms with or whatever. That's arguable, as we did before. He should have been done there. WrestleMania 30. But no! This bitch would wrestle continually after that and keep going, regardless of having a hip replacement, being old as fuck, and just, you just can't do it no more. Why don't we... Why doesn't he realize that? But once again, always going to be the caveat. I cannot be mad or upset with a person or a human being for bettering himself financially and well taking care of himself and his family. But I don't have to like that shit.
I can tell that you don't.
Sorry, son of a bitch. There's a YouTube video of me, 12 minutes straight, what WrestleMania was. It was the same WrestleMania we was talking about earlier when Nakamura lost to AJ Styles in New Orleans. I was there for that. That's when The Undertaker came back and he had that little squash match with fucking John Cena. I have a 12-minute and 46-second video of me on YouTube complaining about this shit. because I was there live in attendance.
You're actually making me very jealous. You seem to go to a lot of wrestling events compared to the
And it's all
very
by
little I do.
accident. And it's all by accident. My first WrestleMania that I ever been to was WrestleMania 31. That was in Santa Clara, California. That's when Seth Rollins cashed in and won the freaking title in the main event. I was there for that. That was my very first WrestleMania. It was on my birthday, March 29th.
Oh, nice.
And my wife was gracious enough to let me buy a $400 and something title belt replica. So that was special for me. And the way that whole trip came about was I talked about it as a joke because my birthday was coming up. So I told my sister, she's like, what you want for your birthday? A trip to WrestleMania. Ha, ha, ha. We chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. And then a couple days later, and this, like I said, it was March 29th that year. And here we are 2 weeks out. My mama called me. She's like, what's this WrestleMania you was talking about? Oh, no, it was just a thing that going on in California and whatever. It was WrestleMania, biggest WrestleMania. Biggest wrestling event ever. You know how I like wrestling. She my mama. She been with me all my life. And she was like, okay, if I give you my credit card information, go ahead and book you a ticket and everything. I was like, what? So that's how I wound up in my first WrestleMania. Now, the WrestleMania after that, 32, that was in Dallas, Texas, in the freaking Cowboy Stadium. My brother called me out of the blue. I mean, my brother is many years older than me or whatever. He's close to retirement age here in the United States. So he just called me out of the blue. He's like, you went to WrestleMania last year, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, where is it this year? I was like, it's in Dallas, where my other brother lives, And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get you a ticket for that or whatnot. I was like, okay. He's like, here's my credit card information. Go ahead and find your ticket. I was like, so that's how I wound up in my second WrestleMania. I was like, what the fuck is this going on here?
And now you get I say now you get together. We'll see if you're able to go this year, but now potentially you go again.
Well, I mean, and now WrestleMania after that, 33, that's the one that was in Orlando. That's the one I was just vehemently venting about the motherfucking Undertaker.
Of course, yeah.
That was in Orlando. I did not go to that one. And then this shit happened. And then the year after that, the next WrestleMania was in New Orleans. So I went to that one because it's in driving distance, and I drove to that motherfucker. And then was the WrestleMania after that, MetLife Stadium here in New York, New Jersey area. Same thing happened. I was just like, I had it in my mind that I wasn't going. And then my wife was like, it's your birthday. I want you to go. I was like, yay. Okay. So I went to New York to that one. And then this one, here we are as we sit now, 3 weeks out from WrestleMania. And last week, my wife was like, they still got some tickets left for WrestleMania? I was like, yeah. She's like, all right, I want you to go. Okay. What the fuck? So all these instances that I just mentioned, it was like me either joking around, knowing that I wasn't going. I just put it in my mind that I wasn't going to go. And people come to me and be like, hey, I want you to go. I was like, oh, well, fuck it. All right, I'm going then.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no.
Exactly. I'm not, I had to twist my arm that far.
Wow. And
Corona.
Yeah, Corona. It rears its ugly head. Yeah, you ain't going anywhere.
I'm looking I'm finding some mask right now. I already got some gloves, so.
That'll be a sight, actually, if it does go ahead and we watch it on TV and just see, seas of masks. As we record, Saturday, the 14th of March.
Yes. It's still Friday the 13th here in the States. WrestleMania is still a go for April 5th. There's no word about change of venue, a postponement, or anything. It's still going down in the freaking, the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida on April 5th. It's still going down as we record this, as this hits your ears at whatever time.
Let's see. Anything could happen. Literally
anything
could happen. Like, there seems to be, like, every single minute there's something stopping, postponing, cancelling. It's all over the place.
Also, as of current, the XFL is canceled for the rest of the season. The NBA is canceled for the rest of the season. The NHL is canceled for the rest of the season. The MLB, the baseball, is postponing or holding off for their season. So Disneyland is shut down. I think Disney World, so that's either Florida or California. I forget which one is which, because Florida is either land or world, and California is either world or land. Yeah, so Florida, where fucking WrestleMania is going to be, is shut down. So, the only ray of hope, the only rainbow of anything through this Corona shit is WrestleMania right now.
I mean, it's
slim.
It is, yeah. It's very, very slim. It's very touch and go. But
from what we read online and what people are speculating and talking about, that the governor of Florida and WWE proper or Vince McMahon, whatever head you want to use, it was more like Florida was like, "Hey, it's up to you if you want to do this or not. I mean, we'll support you in whatever you want to do, but it's ultimately on you." And it's just like, WWE, Vince McMahon, whatever your head you want to put on it. Let's give it a week. Let's see what happens. I don't know, but it's still going on right now.
I think this thing will go all the way up until, like, the day before, and they'll go, right, okay, like, we're the day before now. Do you want to carry on with this? And like,
I don't think they can do that. At the bare minimum, the latest they can go is March 31st. Because what I say about that is a lot of the airlines that people book these flights on, they're giving a lot of people up until March 31st to change their tickets or even get a refund. So March 31st is like the bare minimum of a deadline. And then, they don't touch down in Florida proper to start the WrestleMania festivities until at least Thursday night. So, that's their window, because they got to do the SmackDown Friday. So they got to prep for that Thursday. And then they got the Hall of Fame Friday, NXT Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday. So at the bare minimum, March 31st is the deadline. Because I don't think nobody going to fly out there for whatever reason before that.
Yeah, it's not looking
Unless
good.
They're going to go to Disneyland, which they can't go to Disneyland World because the shit is closed.
It'd just be an all-round trip of disappointment, really, for absolutely
everybody. It would be for the people who can remember it, or they want to go back and reference it. It would be like the National Lampoon's Vacation, to where they went to Wally World and shit, and then it was closed down for whatever reason.
It's not a good time. It's not a good time. But what has been a good time has been this episode.
Yeah, we've been going for a minute. And then you have bonus content.
And then you have bonus content on top of that. So you got like 3 hours, more or less, of this content.
Yes.
But we have a WrestleMania card out of it, so fuck it.
Yeah.
And
fuck the Undertaker.
Except the Undertaker. He's not in a title match, he doesn't count.
Son of a bitch.
So, Rob, I know you've already plugged yourself, but if you want to do it again...
you don't have to twist my arm. I'll do it again. But I have been Rob, or B Rob proper, and I host a podcast called The Random Ramblings with Rob. And if you like my wrestling insights, I have a sub show proper called Wrestling is Trash that you can find on randomrob.com. And other places you can find me on social media is 3R Show on Twitter and the 3R Show on Instagram, to where you can watch me walk through the hallowed halls of Walmart, just talking about everyday life and podcasting and all those other shenanigans. I have a YouTube channel. You just search for 3R Show. There is a separate YouTube for the Random Rounds with Rob. That's an old show that I'll be migrating footage from there to the new account that I just mentioned, at 3R Show. I know it's not at on freaking YouTube, but you get the fucking gist. And for everything that I may have missed, you can go to what I mentioned before, randomrob.com. That's where you can find my Patreon that nobody uses, and my merchandise, which is fucking awesome. So you need to get on that train. Sponsor links and all that other crap, all on randomrob.com.
Boom. And do it as well, because as you could probably have gathered from this episode, or if you even have listened to any of B-Rob's stuff, it's good stuff. It's good shit.
It's good shit. God damn it.
Shit. So no, honestly, go and check all of that stuff out, guys. On my front, you know where to find me, at Dits on Wrestling. On Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, I don't bother with Facebook. Fuck that shit.
And as of Monday.
And Monday, Dits versus Josh is back. So you make sure you go follow at Dits versus Josh. Versus is VS, not VERSUS. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I know you overseas guys like to put the U's and all kind of stuff in your wording.
Yeah, we're awkward, but it's our language. It's our language.
I mean, we're awkward too because we came from there to here, so we changed shit just to spite y'all in a sense, anyway. But at the same time, I came here with no choice, so.
You just follow
anyway,
suit.
That's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother thing.
Dits versus Josh re-debuts on Monday. So that's part of the Josh Robinson 00 network, which has just launched on Friday with the return of Wrestling Reverb. So make sure you go and follow Dits vs. Josh on Twitter and go and subscribe to the Josh Robinson 00 network, and you'll be able to find Dits vs. Josh on there. Re-debuts this Monday. And as for me, you can find this podcast on all your favorite podcast directories. Primarily Apple and Spotify are the big ones, so make sure you leave a 5-star review on Apple Pods and leave a nice little review and subscribe. And on Spotify, make sure you follow the podcast on there. But outside of that, I have a return of Draft That next week with Tanner from Headlock Talk. Really looking forward to getting into that. I haven't done a Draft That since last year, I think it was. Very long time ago. Mm-hmm. So very much looking forward to that. But apart from that, you can catch me on social media. You can go back and look at all my old episodes. It makes me seem like I've been doing this for a very long time, even though it's not even been a year yet. But I do have, obviously, older episodes, so you can go back and check all of those out, especially the drafts prepare you for this Friday. But, Rob, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. And it's an open invitation. I have an open door for anybody, any guests that come on that I enjoy. You're more than welcome back whenever you want.
Hey man, whenever you got the time, you know how to get a hold of me. So I'm ready whenever.
Hells yeah! Well, thank you very much for coming on, buddy.
For sure.
And for everybody that's listened to this, I will see you next week. In fact, I'll see you on Monday for Dits vs. Josh. But selfishly, I'll see you next week on the Dits on Wrestling podcast. The Royal Navy's only pro wrestling pod.
You're
negative,
right.
probably.
Fuck that, probably. It is.
Yeah. See you next week, guys.